To me, it seems appropriate that this event would, in a strange way, be connected to the Persian city of Shiraz, which gave birth to poets and mystics like Sadi, Hafez, and later the Bab. One of the main targets of these poets and mystics were the pedantic religious literalists and hypocrites who preached of paradise in terms of carnal pleasure deferred to some afterlife. They one and all attempted to point the soul to the transcendent nature of divine love, for which material love is but a pale shadow of. Of course, these questions about the relationship between mind and matter had been thought about for probably as long as humans existed and constitute one of the fundamental questions of philosophy. Idealism addresses this question using the core premise that matter, or the material existence, is ultimately founded upon mind or consciousness. Its history is lost in the haze of mythology, such that many of the pre-modern philosophers might actually attribute it to mythical figures such as Hermes Trismegistus, or the Egyptian god Thoth, the presumed father of magical alchemy in the Near Eastern and Western traditions. In Eastern traditions, such as the Vedas and Upanishads, deal with the core understanding that pure consciousness represents the foundation of reality and being. The schools of Vedanta all attempt to deal with the connection between Brahman, which is understood as a primal or universal soul, and the individual soul Atman. The primary theme being that the perception of the various physical forms represent an illusion, or Maya, and that all things are founded upon Brahman. The expression, "thou art that," sums up this concept, though different schools have various metaphysical understandings, which express different levels of monism. The most popular and clearest expression of idealism in the West originated with ancient Greek philosophy. It grew out of Pythagorean philosophy, which believed that mathematics accurately describes the true or essential nature of all things. This was carried even further in Plato's theory of forms, which claimed that non-physical idealized forms, or ideas, represent the most accurate reality, and that physical objects represent a shadow of these forms. In his work, The Republic, Plato uses the well-known allegory of the cave to illustrate this relationship. In the book, Plato imagines several prisoners trapped since birth in a cave deep underground. Their bodies and heads are chained, so that they are forced to only see the wall in front of them, on which the shadows of various objects are projected, cast by a large fire behind them. The effect, as Socrates describes it, is the same as that of a shadow puppet show. The prisoners, however, are unaware of their situation and of what is going on behind them. They only know this reality, and so mistake the shadows they see projected on the wall for reality itself. Eventually, one of the prisoners escapes and sees the real objects being projected, and slowly, through painful stages, realizes the nature of the deception. This freed prisoner is likened to the enlightened philosopher, or as we might say, a spiritually awakened person. The prisoners are all of humanity, and the shadows are what we take to be the physical reality. Plato's theory of forms, in the dialogues Timaeus and later Phaedo, take on more substance. In Timaeus, the concept that the universe is the work of a divine craftsman is presented. Later, in Neoplatonism, this concept would become important in Plotinus's idea that this craftsman was the first emanation or first mind of the One. In Christianity, it became the logos or word in the opening sentence in the Gospel of John. Also in Timaeus, the connection between the elements and perfect solids were introduced. In Phaedo, the nature of the soul and its immortality is discussed. It is also here that the relationship between the idealized forms and their physical counterparts are developed. It is from this that the concept of an essence was first put forward. For Plato, essences were derived from the physical object's relationship to the form.